In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how much does it cost to add central air to your property. And then we're going to give you 3 money-saving tips. So stay tuned. We're going to be talking about those subjects right now. So how much should you expect to pay for a central air system? And what are some ways to save? So let's begin by asking the questions. What is the average cost of central heat and air systems in America? And how do you learn to calculate the tons required for a house so that you don't get an undersized or oversized unit? What are the odds that your system will be installed correctly? And then we're going to give you 3 tips that could save you some money. So stay tuned. So what is the average cost of a central heat and air system in America? Well, I did some research and it's a pretty wide gap. They say the average is between $3,000 and $7,000. Now that's a pretty big disparity, and obviously it's because property sizes are going to vary and what regions are they in. Some regions will be more expensive than other regions. And last but not least, we haven't even thrown in the consideration of what is the energy efficiency rating of the unit you're choosing. The more energy efficient it is, the more it costs. We usually measure this in SEERs. The higher the SEER, the more energy efficient the unit or the system is itself. So with all those things considered, we need to fall back on at least one thing that all of them have in common. You have to know the cubic feet that you're trying to heat or cool before anything can begin. So how do you calculate the cubic feet so that you can begin to figure out what size unit you need, or how many tons does your unit need to be rated at? So the first thing you have to do is you have to find out the number of cubic feet you're expecting this system to heat and cool. And you do that by multiplying the length and the width and the height of every room and then adding them together to come to a total. Once you have that total, you're going to want to multiply that by 1,027, and that will give you the number of British thermal units that you have. Now the 3 words British thermal units may not sound very familiar to you, but when you say their initials, it will. It'll tell you how many BTUs you're dealing with. And I think we've all heard the term BTUs. Once you have the number of BTUs, you'll want to divide that number by 12,000. And that will give you the number of tons that you need to install to operate that space efficiently and effectively. So one of the questions in this episode here leading in was, what are the odds that your system's going to be put in incorrectly? There's about a 30% chance that your installation won't be done to maximize efficiency and effectiveness. About a 30% chance that it's going to be done wrong. And one of the number 1 reasons why it will be done wrong is they won't calculate the cubic feet accurately. Now you know how to do it yourself, and you can second guess anyone who comes up with a different tonnage number than you do. So let's just recap the formula real quick in case you didn't have a pencil and paper out. You multiply the length, width, and height of every room. Then you add it together. You multiply that number by 1,027, and then you divide by 12,000. And that will give you the number of tons you need. Now going back to the mistakes and the reasons why systems are installed inefficiently for ineffectiveness, we'll want to review some scenarios that you need to learn to recognize. So let's say you go into this house and you're just going to flip this house. You're going to buy it, you're going to fix it, you're going to put a new AC system in it along with all the other things you're going to do, and you're going to flip it to someone else, you're going to sell it for cash or new loan, and you'll be done with it, right? So you call your AC guy and you give him the job of putting in the new system, but here's what's going on in your AC guy's head. You see, he just got a unit that he had to repossess or take away from some place that was upgrading or whatever, and it's a 3.5 ton unit. Now, your place really needs a 4-ton unit, but he knows that you're not going to be living in it, and that you're going to be selling it to someone else that he's not responsible to, he's going to make 100% on this 3.5 ton unit because they just gave it to him when they upgraded. And it was only like a year old. He decides that even though the house needs a 4 tons, he's just going to put in the 3.5 ton because he's going to make 100% profit off of it. And it's only a half a ton off. But the kicker is, the guy that's hiring him to do the job is you, and you're never going to live in the house, and you're selling it to someone else. So this unscrupulous AC guy's putting all this together and thinking he can get away with it, selling you an undersized unit. And so he does. And that's what happens. Wouldn't it have been nice if you knew the calculations and you'd done the calculations yourself and you knew that the house needed 4 tons and that you could call the AC guy out when he told you that he was going to install a 3.5 ton system? You know, you and your buyer should get an efficient and effective unit, and you should get what you paid for. And if you're going to pay good money, whether you pay a little more or a little less, get what you intended to get and go down the road with something that works the way it's supposed to and deliver the value to your buyer that you said you were going to deliver. And that's how I feel about it. Now, before we get to those 3 money-saving tips, please acknowledge that like and share button and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, let's talk about those 3 tips. Number 1, make sure you check into and ask for rebates when you're considering buying a super high energy efficient systems. A lot of times they're offering a significant rebate because you're buying something that is so energy efficient. Number 2, consider installing a separate mini split system in areas that you use infrequently and that you can shut off from the rest of the house or the property. This will allow you to save money on your energy bill and only cool the area when it's in use. And number 3, don't forget to ask your AC provider if he has a slightly used system that he can use for your space. You know, a lot of times these air conditioning professionals, they have to go out and remove perfectly good, not old at all units for all different kinds of reasons. And if you don't ask, you may not get one that he has just recently picked up. It could save you a small fortune. It could help him unload and get it out of his way, get it out of his storage. And it could be a perfect fit, especially if you're flipping a house. Just make sure it's the right tonnage. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's okay to buy slightly used or to get a bargain on a system as long as it's the right fit for the house and it works efficiently and effectively. And today you are in luck because I'm giving away a private money webinar. You know, I function off of about $26 million of private lenders' money. These people have chosen to loan me their money for very specific reasons. And in this private money webinar, I'm going to talk to you about how you find these private lenders and why they loan money to people like you and I. Once you understand the dynamic, it's going to get a whole lot easier for you to find private money. And I have a course called Private Money Changes Everything. And the reason why it's named that is because once you understand the dynamics of private lenders and collateral and why private lenders want to loan you their money, this private money will change everything. Private money is a big, big key to my success. Without it, I couldn't have bought thousands of properties. So check it out. Go to 1000houses.com/free-stuff. And scroll up and down the page there where all my free stuff is at and click on Private Money Webinar. It'll be digitally downloaded like that and you will be all the smarter for watching it. Believe me, this can change your life. This is Mitch Stephen. I'd like to thank you for joining me and please follow me because I'm headed right over to the next episode right now.